Sadnam. We are Jen and Ramthan from Heart Center Revolution.
Our intention with this podcast is to share the best of Kundalini Yoga and conscious living with you so you can live a more heart-centered life. Welcome to episode 5 of the Heart Centered Revolution podcast. We are so honored to have you back. The topic of this episode is tuning in Kundalini Yoga. So we're going to talk about what the mantras mean that we use to tune in to Kundalini Yoga practices with, and then also the deeper sense of what exactly is it that we're tuning into? What is this tuning in process for on a grander scale, on an energetic scale? But before we get into the topic at hand, we just wanted to say thank you to all of you who are listening and sharing our podcast. The number of people who are listening astounds us. We started this to try and spread the word of Kundalini Yoga, thinking that it might be fun and useful for students to learn more about some of the technology and wisdom that comes behind it. But we could not have anticipated the level of interest and, just downloads and support that we've received. So we thank all of you. I wanted to give a shout out because we have people listening all over the world. And that's another thing that has completely humbled us. We have listeners all over the US, in the UK, Canada, Slovenia, Australia, Italy, Portugal, the Netherlands, Sweden, Romania, Turkey, Mexico, China, Germany, Greece, Poland, all over the world. And we never would have even imagined that we would have gotten to connect with students in some of these areas of the world. So thank you for listening and for sharing. We are honored by the response, and we take it as our sign to step up and to do the very best that we can with this little experiment that we started with our podcast. So thank you, like I said, and we will move into the topic at hand, which is tuning in Kundalini Yoga. So if you've ever been to a Kundalini Yoga class, you know that before we do any Kundalini exercise or meditation, we tune in with the mantra Om Namo Gurudev Namo. It's O-N-G, not O-M. So Om Namo Gurudev Namo. This mantra is called the Adi mantra. And it directly translates to, I bow to the creative wisdom. I bow to the divine teacher within. So we use this mantra to tune into our highest self and to tune into the divine flow and self-knowledge within each of us. So it's like a direct line to our intuition, into our highest self, into our soul. This mantra also links us to the golden chain of teachers. So Kundalini Yoga originated in India, and it was originally passed from teacher to student in private. It was not publicly taught. And so there's this idea that there's this chain of teachers. So teacher teach student, and then students become the teachers, and the practice continues and grows. It's one of the things I love about Kundalini Yoga is it's meant for us as Kundalini Yoga teachers. Our job is to make more teachers, not to make more students or disciples. So it's really a very empowering, uplifting practice. It's not about having someone else tell you what's good for you or what you need. It's about you finding that connection on your own. So the Om Namo Gurudev Namo connects us to the teachers ahead of us and then all the teachers that came before them. So in the line of Kundalini Yoga, for most of us, it's Yogi Bhajan, since he's the yogi who brought these practices to the West from India and kind of out from being privately taught to being publicly taught. So he should be in all of our golden chains, unless you're studying, Kundalini Yoga in India. Then maybe you learn from a different chain of teachers. The effect for me of chanting Om Namo Gurudev Namo is just a sense of well-being and of clarity. So I find it really helpful to tune in using Om Namo Gurudev Namo outside of yoga classes. So you can do it if you're having a hard time, if you're about to lead a presentation or teach a classroom or something like that, and you want to open yourself up to that divine flow of knowledge or to intuition, be able to think really quickly on your feet. Om Namo Gurudev Namo is a great chant to use. The second mantra that is often used to tune in a Kundalini yoga class, but it's not always used, it's kind of the teacher's discretion, is the chant Ad Gure Name, Jugad Gure Name, Sat Gure Name, Siddhi Gurudev E Name. These words translate into I bow to the primal wisdom, I bow to the wisdom through the ages, I bow to the true wisdom, I bow to the great unseen wisdom. This mantra is known as the Mangala Charan mantra, and it is known to clear clouds of doubt and opens us up to guidance and protection. I would say it's most widely known for its protection. So that's part of why we chant it before we practice a Kundalini yoga class. It kind of protects us, protects the practice. And people also often chant it before they drive. So a lot of people will take a few minutes when they get in their car, they'll chant Ad Gure Name and go through it to help them have some protection while they're driving. When you chant Ad Gure Name, Jugad Gure Name, Sat Gure Name, Siddhi Gurudev E Name, you also can envision white light surrounding you. So for Ad Gure Name, the white light would be on the left of you. And then Jugad Gure Name in front of you, Sat Gure Name to the right of you, Siddhi Gurudev E Name behind you. And so as you chant, you move this white light around you, and it just enhances that feeling of protection that you get from the mantra. So those are the basics, kind of the literal effects of tuning in. But we're going to jump into Ramtin's live class where he talks about the greater concept of what you're tuning into exactly in this role of tuning in during a Kundalini yoga practice, yes, but also in life and kind of as we go through our life's journey. So here we are, we will jump right into his class.
So in Kundalini Yoga, we tune in with Om Namo Gurudev Namo. And as we chant that Om Namo Gurudev Namo, we connect to our inner guidance and inner wisdom that we gather, that wisdom that is in us exists in every part of us. That wisdom comes with every body part, every organ, nervous system, your heart, your brain, your hands, your fingers, your toes. There's a consciousness in every part of your body. Because we are all energy. Right? And I always say this in almost every class. That, what does that mean? I ask this. What does being an energy source mean? Or you being an energy? Energy have been formulated in the body shape that we are. Right? So we tune into that primal wisdom. We connect rather to that primal wisdom and tune into that because it exists within us. That is the source of all the creation and this body. That we are the temple, that we are more aware of than anything else. So as human beings, we have a physical body, and first and foremost, with this consciousness, with this existence that we are part of, we are more aware of that than anything else. And it's energy. the matter. And that's why we have been, as humans, we've been so fascinated, we've been so focused on the physical body first and foremost. But just like our, every part of our body, every organ that has a consciousness and is an energy source, our mind is also energy source and is an energy field and is part of who we are as human beings. But it's more subtle, that field of energy. And what we call the unknown, the infinite, which is not readily, because we are so involved or embedded, if you will, in our own bodies, our physical existence, and we are able to see through our five senses and connect with other individuals, entities, other bodies, other human beings, and other species and trees and everything else. That really takes our focus and attention and our conscious awareness than the spiritual realm, which is more subtle, ether. And therefore, naturally, has become a way of, natural way of being as human beings. We don't think about it as much. It's not part of our daily life. But unless we create that awareness for ourselves and keep the channels open and that connection alive, we are not complete. And in today's, age, in this time, we are becoming more aware of that. Those who are more sensitive, meaning have more connection, more sensitive to energy, more receptive, one way or the other, our bodies tell us. Our mind tells us through thoughts to connect to the source for our own expansion of consciousness, and our own evolution. Some call it ascension, because as we learn more about the creation, realize or recognize more of what it is, and we become more in tune with it and connected to it, not something that's separated from us, the cosmos, the everything else that exists in the universe, part of who we are. And we know this lifetime is not the only lifetime. This is a chance we have to experience what we're experiencing physically. And therefore, as we pass on, we graduate, so to speak, some call it death, we go on, or there's a soul's journey. So the physical body we've been given here to experience with, to enjoy, and expand the consciousness from a very basic level, is for soul's protection, is for the soul's journey.
I love thinking about this life as my soul's journey. Somehow it makes some of the trials and tribulations just seem more manageable. I'm kind of on this spirit quest in this lifetime. Since we've covered what the mantras mean, kind of what tuning in means on a deeper level, on a very deep, life's purpose level, let's get some direct experience and tune in ourselves. Before I guide you through a tune in, I just want to note that when we chant in Kundalini Yoga, it's not singing. There's no appropriate key. There's no right or wrong sound or note or key to make. Yogi Bhajan's infamous for having been off key, and when he's told that he's off key, saying something to the effect of, there is no right or wrong key, there is only your key. So my ego and a little insecurity wanted to put that out there before I chant into a microphone for you to hear. As we said in the beginning of this episode, the sounds that we use to tune in are Ong, O-N-G, Namo, Gurudev, Namo, and Ad Gare Name, Jugad Gare Name, Sat Gare Name, Sri Gurudev Name. So those are 2 separate mantras, and we do each of them 3 times. Ong Namo tunes us into our highest self and to the teachers that come before us. And Ad Gare Name provides us with a circle of protection during our practice and as we go throughout our day. I will lead you through a complete tune-in like we would do in a class, but note that if you're in a setting where you can't do part of it, so if you're driving and you can't use your hands, then just do the other parts. You can chant out loud. Or if you are in a public space and you can't chant, then you can chant mentally to yourself and still get many of the benefits. So no matter where you're at, let's elongate our spine, sitting up nice and tall. Open your heart center. Roll your shoulders up and back. If you're able to, close your eyes. Focus them at the third eye. Then bring your hands to your chest. Palms together. You can rub them together. Start to generate some friction, some heat. This can help stimulate your nervous system. Tuck your chin gently so the back of your neck opens up. And press your palms together, bringing the thumb into the heart center. Eyes closed, chest lifted. Let's inhale deeply together. Exhale completely. Inhale to tune in. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. One more, inhale. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Now Ad Gare Name. Ad Gare Name. Jugad Gare Name. Sad Gare Name. Sri Gurudev Name. Ad Gare Name. Jugad Gare Name. Sad Gare Name. Sri Gurudev Name. Ad Gare Name. Jugad Gare Name. Sad Gare Name. Sri Gurudev Name. Inhale deeply. Suspend the breath. Squeeze up on your pelvic floor. Direct the energy up the center of your body, out the crown of the head. Eyes still focused at the third eye. Relax the breath. Relax the hands down into your lap or beside you. Take a few breaths. Check in with your mental and emotional state. Notice any shifts that came as a result of tuning in to your highest self. Sense an aura of white light around you, providing you with energetic protection. And when you're ready, blink your eyes open. Beautiful job, yogis. So that is tuning in with Om Namo Gurudev Namo and Ad Gade Name. So hopefully now you have some insight into why we do that. If you would like to continue to practice tuning in, you can do so on your own, or you can download this recorded guided tune-in. I've cut out just the guided tune-in that I just shared with you, and it'll be available at heartcenteredrevolution.com/episode 5. As I said in the beginning, we are so astounded and grateful for all the listeners that we have. Please continue to share the word, spread the word of our podcast. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe in iTunes. Thanks so much. We love you. And may the longtime sun shine upon you.